The Savoy Hotel in London has been the place to stay for royalty, politicians and celebrities since the 1800s, but for the last 3 years it's been closed for refurbishment.
Yes, a major revamp costing a staggering £220 million has taken place, and now the hotel has at last reopened its doors. An ITV film crew followed the makeover from start to finish.
In a moment we'll speak to the show's producer Matt Reed along with two of the Savoy's staff and stars. First, let's take a look at the programme.
I want to get you hyped up. I want to get you into that mode because we have to start from today. And that is the mode of a butler. People have an expectation of what a butler should look like. You will be the wind beneath the guests' wings. I am extremely passionate about what I do. And I can't tell you how excited I am to make this, or want to make it the best hotel. And I am going to say the world because I think we will. I think you should powder your noses and do whatever you have to do before we go into the building. All my sheep are with me.
So here we are with our guest. Matt has been mentioned, along with the Savoy's head butler, Sean Devlin, you saw in the clip there, and General Manager Ciara MacDonald. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Special welcome to you, Sean, because as you'll remember, you taught me my P's and Q's in a special film for breakfast a couple of years ago to take my feet off the furniture, if I remember.
That's quite correct.
So
Quite right.
So presumably at the Savoy, I won't be allowed to put my feet on the furniture either.
Depends where you are.
Okay.
If you're in public, I wouldn't allow you to do it. But maybe in your private apartment, I would probably allow you to do it.
Kieran, how is it finally, after all these months of refurbishment, what's it like actually being back in?
Well, it's both a relief and it's very exciting because, since we've reopened the door, it's been tremendous in terms of the level of interest we've had and the business and everything. So it's just lovely to be back and back running a hotel again. So.
£220 million. I mean,
What's it been spent on?
yes.
Well, I think, the simple answer is, come to the Savoy and see for yourself because it's always been a beautiful hotel. But I think today it's much more beautiful and spectacular. So.
Matt, as ever, you were documenting this whole project, and as ever, these things are not without problems. Was there jeopardy in it, insofar as was there a question as to whether it would ever actually get completed?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. We spent 3 years with not a lot happening. It wasn't a programme about the building, it was a programme about the hotel and the staff. So we waited for an awful long time for the announcement to come that they were going to open. And the jeopardy really was that after waiting for 2.5 years, the hotel staff only had 6 weeks from the moment the builders gave the hotel back to them to get it up and running as a 5-star hotel. So for them, it was 600 staff, all had to learn 5-star service in really quite a short time.
So where did they all come from, these 600 staff? Did some of them originally work for the Savoy?
Absolutely, yes. We managed to bring back just nearly 80 of our colleagues, some of which had in excess of 30 years tenure with the Savoy. From Fairmont hotels around the world, we got over 35, and then from great people around London. We had over 25,000 applicants coming through.
So you were instrumental in getting a lot of these people up to speed, I should think, Sean. I mean, a lot of pressure on you, really, to get so many people ready.
It's no pressure. I think that's the part of the challenge and the enjoyment for me, because it's certainly something I want somebody to pass my knowledge on to. I'm getting an old man now, so I need to give it back to somebody who will hopefully carry it on, because it is a dying art. And service, I think, coming back to the Savoy, we're bringing it back in style.
What are the key lessons? So what are the top 3 lessons, rules that you would teach staff?
Well, if I tell you, first and foremost, I look at people who have a personality, and Mr. MacDonald is great. He has encouraged people who have quite good personalities. We try and develop that personality. The tasks we try and do are very traditional type of butlering, which won't change for the next century either, with your packing, unpacking, dressing somebody, making sure they look smart.
Dressing somebody?
Yes. That is, it is part of our job. Running your bath, bringing your morning tea, your newspaper.
And you do, I mean, packing and unpacking, that's literally as far as...
It's terribly important. Because people travel quite a bit. It takes the stress out.
Sounds great.
That's my job. I get upset if you don't allow me to unpack.
It sounds like standards haven't changed, because here's the hotel back in the, well, call it good old days, just the old days.
At the Savoy Hotel, Chaplin and his family are to spend a few days before they tour Britain. The new Savoy has an illustrious history to live up to. This was the Grande Dame of London. And the lives of the rich and famous played out here across generations. The Savoy was the place to be seen.
Oh, fantastic. It looks amazing. So does everybody get that service from the butlers then?
It's mainly for our suites at the moment.
Ah, you see.
But we... let me finish. We're just starting off small, but we hope to put it out within a year to the whole hotel.
Okay.
Because you have to make sure that you get it right. And I think Mr. McDonald's encouraged us to get that service right and to fine-tune it before we put it out everywhere.
And Matt, a huge job. You said you were following for 3 years and sort of acres and acres and acres of footage, presumably. How do you condense all that down into, what, 1 hour?
Well, with great difficulty, to be honest. But, I mean, it's trying to get an essence of every aspect of the hotel. It's got 2 bars, 4 kitchens, 2 restaurants, and 268 rooms. So I think we managed to get a little bit of every aspect. But naturally, the butlers, everyone's fascinated by butlers. So
Yes.
Sean and his 26 butlers feature quite strongly within that hour.
And we saw just those fantastic pictures of kind of in its heyday. How does it compare now? How does the hotel look?
Well, I think it looks a lot better than when it closed. Obviously, I don't know what it looked like back in the 50s, but or before. You know, I think they've done an amazing job, and they're still attracting the kind of celebrities. There was Marilyn there. They're still attracting that kind of celebrity now that they always did, and I'm sure they always will do.
Kieran, Sean will probably frown on me for mentioning such an impolite subject, but we have to, really. I mean, is it terribly, terribly expensive?
You know, I think it's all about value, and that's the truthful answer.
So in other words, yeah, it is terribly expensive.
It's a luxury hotel. It's one of the greatest hotels in the world from a reputation standpoint. But I think that the important thing about the Savoy, it's always been accessible to people from all walks of life, and it always will be.
So it's not snobbish in that
So
respect, then?
absolutely, far from it. You really get a sense of warmth and welcome, and feel at home. I think it really has that sense when you come in here. You feel completely comfortable wherever you come from.
Can you go and have a cup of tea?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's the tradition. It's the perfect tradition afternoon tea in London. So,
But to spend the night would cost me at least 250,
More than that.
250,
it's
a bit more.
you know, our rates start at £350. Our suite, we've got 62 fabulous suites
What's
overlooking the
most expensive room
Thames.
cost? What is the most expensive?
Well, our Royal Suite. I mean, we've got a new Royal Suite positioned on the 5th floor overlooking the Thames, a snip at £10,000.
a night.
Absolutely.
A night.
But then Sean,
Sean,
will-
you know, without Sean, it would be considerably cheaper.
Okay.
Glad to hear it.
And that's before tipping Sean. as well.
Exactly, that's another 1,000. Lovely to see you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The Savoy will be shown on ITV1 9 p.m. on Monday. £10,000 a night for the Royal
That's for
Suite.
2 people, surely. Anyway, we'll carry on. Matilda is one of Roald Dahl's most popular stories. It's a typically dark tale